Welcome to The Perfect Stool, Understanding and Healing the Gut Microbiome. This is your host, Lindsey Parsons, and today I'll be speaking with Harry Massey, an inventor, systems thinker, and quantum health futurist, as well as the founder of Energy for Life. After a life-altering mountaineering accident left him bedridden for nearly a decade, Harry turned to physics to understand the deeper energetic principles behind healing, where traditional medicine had fallen short. Over the past 20-plus years, he has become a leading voice in bioenergetics, bridging the gap between consciousness and physiology. His work integrates quantum biology, biophysics, and AI to develop practical tools that support emotional coherence and human performance. He is also the creator of the GIST process, Gratitude, Intention, Surrender, and Trust, a framework designed to help individuals align their emotional and energetic states for optimal health and well-being. Through his books, teachings, and technologies, Harry continues to redefine health as an energy-based system rather than a purely biochemical one. But before our conversation, if you haven't yet followed or subscribed to the show, be sure to do so. And if you want to get high-quality edited transcripts of the podcast, pop over to my website, highdeserthealthcoaching.com, and sign up for my newsletter, which I host on Substack. If you haven't yet been reading it, I include a section called Behind the Mic where I talk about my own health journey, life, and also include deep dives on gut health topics like bloating and post-infectious IBS. But do sign up via the pop-up on my website, so you'll also get my recently updated free e-booklet, Finding Your Root Cause Through Stool and Organic Acids Testing, when you sign up. And if you haven't yet done my quiz on which stool or functional medicine test would help you get to your root cause, you can find a link in the show notes and take that. Now on to the show. Welcome to the podcast, Harry.
Good to meet you, Lindsey.
You too. So can you give me the abridged version of your own background story and how you ended up founding Energy for Life?
So when I was 21, I had these 3 accidents that led me to be being bedridden for the next 7 years. Originally, I was climbing up. Well, actually, I was climbing in the Alps. I got a fever. 6 months later, when I was getting a bit more tired because I had like post-viral fatigue, I was climbing in Ben Nevis, fell ice climbing, fell like 100-odd foot, hit the mountain below, shattered my spine, but I didn't actually know I fractured my spine that day till about a year later. I had another paragliding accident because by that time I was losing my brain's ability. So when I was climbing and paragliding, I was getting much more accident prone, and I was rushed off to hospital then, and they said, well, you didn't break your spine or your head today, but you do have a fractured spine from before. So that was curious. And I then actually just took my first job in London, but by that time I was so sick I was fired. I went back out to the Alps once more to see if I could heal all this fatigue I was having through climbing and French food and wine. That didn't quite work out, but I ended up getting so exhausted I got stuck in a tent for 10 days. Got myself back to England, enrolled in a MBA. The MBA was honestly too hard, but I completed it in a wheelchair. After that, I basically spent the next 6 odd years totally bedridden and homebound with well, actually I had Addison's, but I didn't know I had Addison's at the time, but I thought it was chronic fatigue syndrome, and tried every type of diet, functional medicine, fasting, everything you could possibly think of. But all of those sort of nutritional chemical approaches basically didn't work, or didn't work for me anyway. They do work, but it wasn't working in my case. After about 5 or so years, I began to think about where energy comes from, because I'd studied the opposite of energy, like fatigue and all of these horrible books that say if you've had chronic fatigue for 2 years, you basically don't recover. But I didn't like that idea. So I then just started to look into where energy comes from. Ended up meeting this scientist from Australia who'd been mapping out the energy and information of the human body, which is really seen as this overall master control system above the chemical control system. He ended up emigrating from Australia to England to form an R&D company with us, but also in parallel to that, he was treating me as a patient. And over the next 2 years, I basically got my health back through what was then, well, then it didn't have a name, but basically today they're called an infoceutical, where it basically imprinted information in onto a colloidal mineral. And by looking at where our control system was distorted and correcting it, I basically slowly started, well, not that slowly, it was over a 2-year period, I got my function back. That's the brief version.
Oh, okay. So Addison's, I believe, because my niece literally just went through this, it's like a tumor on your pituitary that's producing a lot of cortisol, correct?
That's the opposite, actually. That's the opposite.
Oh,
Addison's is when your adrenals fail. But yes, there's a hypothalamus pituitary dysfunction, which in my case was from falling off the lid.
oh, is it the autoimmune one where it's killing your adrenals?
Yes, well, no. What you said about the pituitary is correct, but it wasn't from a tumor. In my case, it was from falling off all the mountains. So basically, I've got basically having a lot of concussions. It dislodged that whole axis, so it wouldn't control my thyroid or adrenals.
Okay, so you didn't have enough cortisol, essentially.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't have enough. Well, nor thyroid, nor anything. It basically blocked the whole signaling
Cascades, right?
from the pituitary downwards. Yeah.
Okay.
Which wasn't a nutrition problem, but that's why nutrition didn't help me.
Right.
Yeah.
So my first interaction with Energy for Life was a voice scan, the results of which I'm going to put on the show notes page so people can look at those. And this scan, if I recall correctly, consisted of me saying maybe 5 numbers. Is that right?
Yes. Who did you have a scan with, and what came up?
Three.
Okay.
Well, I can show you. So I also had my husband do it, and he was really skeptical that was the whole thing, that it was just 5 numbers, that much speech could determine all these things about his health. So can you explain how you translate a voice scan into a whole body health assessment?
Yes, but I think I should firstly explain what the overall body field is and control system, because, without that context, it might not make so much sense. So when you look at the overall body, everyone is very, very used to a chemical control system, i.e. you take whether it's a supplement or a drug or even food, you eat it, it's digested, and a chemical goes around the blood, it's picked up by a cell. The problem, it's not that isn't true, but the problem with that is it's very, very slow. And yet the body has 60 trillion odd cells. It has 3 trillion operations that happen every single second. And to get that overall operating system to work properly, it basically can't work on just slow moving nerve impulses, because even the nervous system is pretty slow. But it certainly doesn't work on just a chemical system. So to get the body to stay alive and react in real time and those 3 trillion operations per second to happen, you basically need a field-based control system, which means the cells also respond to photons, to magnetic fields and other electromagnetic fields. So that's sort of the basis. And that control system sits above the normal chemical control system. Now, to understand the voice scan, that gets into a whole space of physics, of which in physics there's this concept of action at a distance, which basically means that photon A can communicate to photon B, or any electron in the whole universe can communicate to another electron. And when we're looking at something like the body in the body scan, the body basically contains all information about itself, and basically so in turn does your voice, so in turn actually does a hair sample, a video, a photo. They all basically contain information about the body, and you can using a principle of resonance, get that information out. So when we look at something like the voice scan, it's not so much the voice, like it's not to do with the frequencies or the patterns in the voice. However, by using the voice, we can connect it up, or well, basically we can connect it to a computer that has a full map of the overall body in it, and it can scan your voice against this full map using a principle called resonance. And from that, we can tell what's going on in the body.
And resonance is what exactly?
So the easiest way of understanding resonance, if you took a tuning fork, if you take a tuning fork here that's A, and you get another one that's A, and you ping this other one just starts resonating. If this one was B and that one was A, they won't resonate. So all resonant.
You mean like vibrate at the same frequency, sort of?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So
somehow you mapped the body onto the resonances of the voice such that you could say that this particular resonance coming out of the voice is related to the heart.
Yeah, probably the easiest way of understanding that is the voice contains certain vocal biomarkers of which we've mapped to different parts of the body. Yeah, that's pretty an easier way of understanding it without getting too into physics and resonance.
And how did you know which things mapped to which part of the body to do that in the first place?
So this company's existed, I think, 28 years, and Peter, who's the scientist who helped heal me, he'd already been researching for another 30 years before I ever met him. So it was basically a trial and error process. Like we would look at a little part of the voice, a little part of the body, see if we could get any resonance, and it either does or it doesn't. And if it's a no, we move on. And that process honestly just took years and years. So it took about 10 years to perfect.
Mm-hmm. So would you be like, let's pinch the pinch the finger and see if it then changes something in the voice, or like how would you know that corresponded to the body?
So we used a matching. Well, basically in resonance, it either resonates or it doesn't. So yeah, well, in his case, he actually used a Vega machine, which is an electoral dermal type testing. So he would use an acupuncture point that was correlated to the heart meridian. It was on the finger, and basically wherever you get conductivity, that would be a match. And then you would test that against all these different parts of the body. So yeah, and that's what I mean. It's very trial and error. He would just have to test every single little part, and then you would just throw away anything that didn't work. And then, so there was that side of the experimental side. And then I think we've done it on 600,000 people at this point. So now we've got a huge database of scans to go from. And now, well, that was all done pre-AI. And now we have AI. There's a whole other AI layer. So our latest iteration that's coming out around August looks at your tongue. So your tongue in Chinese medicine, you can tell different organ systems, inflammation, like it has a white coating or be red or pink. There's a certain amount you can tell in the face. I mean, a very obvious one is when you've got dark patches under your eyes is related to kidney, cheeks related to lungs, etc. So yeah, so the future of it is a mix of AI using voice, face, tongue. Haven't figured out iris, but we're looking at iris. So, and you can put in blood labs as well, but that's sort of everyone does that. That's a bit basic.
Yeah. So how reproducible are the results of the voice scans? Like if I repeat it 3 times, will I get the same output?
You do, yeah. It changes a bit over a month, but if you do it instantly, it's pretty similar.
Okay. So can you explain the infoceuticals that are prescribed after the voice scan and how they work?
Yes. So the infoceuticals basically come from this map of the body field, which is seen as like a master control system. And what an infoceutical is, it's basically an informational blueprint of how different parts of the body are when they're working properly. So there's a liver infoceutical or a kidney infoceutical. And when you give an infoceutical, you're basically saying to the body, look, this is what an optimal kidney is like when it's functioning perfectly. Steer yourself towards that. And what the body does, it'll then draw resources from the rest of the body to help regenerate that particular organ or area. And you can stack that, like if you took certain nutrition, like different diet, different foods, different supplements and herbs, you can also give it extra supportive nutrients so it can help to rebuild those organs.
So, but how are you creating the infoceuticals? Like literally, what are you doing to create them?
Do you mean the research experiments that led to it? That's a long question. Yeah.
No, I mean in the production of how do you create them?
Oh, like what they actually are. Okay. So ultimately, they're just information, which are vectors, which is basically maths. In other words, they're instructions. And you can put that information into the body in a lot of different ways. You can carry it on sound. You can carry it electromagnetically, like through a device like this. There's some My Health. So these are 2 electric plates. You can carry it in light. So we have a wearable that will carry it through light. But you can also imprint it, which is a little bit like the idea of homeopathy. But you can also imprint the information into a liquid or a sugar solution. So in our case, in an infoceutical, we're basically imprinting the information into a mineral solution.
And how do you imprint it?
And how we imprint it is basically we use light and a very strong electromagnetic field.
Okay. So you have these, is it frequencies, it's resonances, or what exactly are you transmitting into the
It's a mathematical vector that's translated into binary code. But yeah, it's pure information that's carried on photons in the presence of a strong electromagnetic field.
Okay. So just so people understand, I got these bottles and I think it was 3 weeks worth. I think I got 6 weeks worth of the same ones that were prescribed for me. And there was, I think, 5 different bottles and I took 5 drops in water once a day of each bottle. Does that sound right?
Probably, if that's what Brown told you. Yeah, they're anything from 5 to 15 drops.
Okay. Yeah, that's what she recommended. So we can look briefly at my scan and maybe you can just explain a little bit what, let me just share my screen, explain a little bit what all this means so people understand what the nature of this is. Struggling with gut issues like bloating, gas, diarrhea, or incomplete evacuation, but haven't gotten testing or a diagnosis like SIBO, IBS, IBD, or Candida yet? My latest supplement, serum bovine immunoglobulin, or SBI powder, might be exactly what you need. In a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study of adults with IBS-D, a daily 5-gram dose significantly improved GI symptoms, including loose and hard stools, flatulence, and incomplete evacuation. At 10 grams a day, abdominal pain, bloating, and urgency also saw major improvements after 6 weeks. SBI is essentially the immune system of a cow, made from plasma and turned into a powder, so it's dairy-free. It binds and removes harmful bacteria and fungi throughout your digestive tract without harming your good bugs, like antibiotics and strong herbal antimicrobials can. It's also been shown to support gut integrity by reducing intestinal permeability, improving nutrient absorption, reducing fat and stool, and even increasing lean muscle mass. Check it out at perfectstool.com, where you'll also find Tributyrin Max, great for solidifying stool and slowing motility in cases of diarrhea or loose stool. Now back to the show.
I need the full scan. So all that is the end of this.
Oh, okay. I can start going through the pages. That's
Soul, stomach, liver. Yeah, I don't know. There's 400 things to go through. I don't know. That's the best way to do it.
okay. Maybe not the best use of our time, but I did just want people to sort of see what a scan looked like.
I mean, it's normally shown in software. This is a PDF report of it.
Right. Yeah, I just printed it out because I could pull up the screen, but it seemed like this might be more efficient because of the fact that people can actually...
Yeah, I mean, if we go back, we'll just go back to the top. That's probably easier.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, anything that's purple is showing a very significant priority. So in your case, the stomach, liver, circulation, and stomach, and also a bit source energy, which is like an overall energy reading. It's a bit hard to correlate because I don't know what the other 400 things are.
Right. Well, I can't say it was too off in the sense that I have gut issues. So the fact that stomach came up a couple times was not shocking. And
yeah.
I do, at least in terms of my family history, have cholesterol issues. I don't know that there's any problems with my circulation, but anyway. Yeah, it wasn't totally off on me or my husband, so I will give you credit for that. And then as you dig down into it, I obviously could see that this was corresponding to, the meridians in Chinese medicine. So yeah, I'll just
No,
get
it's
through all.
good. What are the things that come up from your health? Then I know what to look for.
Oh,
Yes,
well, I
well,
mean,
right.
I've had post-infectious IBS and just like gut issues for many, many years. So that was
Yeah,
something that's, and one thing that did pop up in here, I think it pulled up some mycotoxins, and I did have some of them when the time came. I didn't
yeah.
actually have that one
Oh, did you
though.
have the Vericurin A?
Let me see. I'll pull up my mycotox report and see if I
Yeah,
did.
I don't know.
That
I
would
don't know
be an
what that
interesting
one is.
question. I think I looked at the correlation between those two. I had, yes, well, not A. I had Vericurin J, but you don't have every single one of there. I had that was the one I
Yeah, we
had
do.
the highest amount of, Vericurin J. And then I
Oh,
had
interesting.
Novalinol and Roridin A. Those are the three that I had.
Hmm.
So it did pull up the right family of of mycotoxins.
Yeah, we don't have all the subcategories.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just sort of running through so people can kind of see what this looks like. But you can pull this up on the show notes and look at different things that popped up. Anyway, I just wanted to share that so people can see what that looks like. I can't say I felt all that different when I took the Infoceuticals, but I'm somebody who generally feels good.
I'd say increase the dose. I would say take 15
15
drops.
drops? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I probably want to redo the voice scan in any case. But
yeah.
yeah, can you talk about the research study that you did on these Infoceuticals? Because I did see a webinar about that.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. So the latest one was done at UCSD under Professor Hemel Patel, and we looked at all sorts of different things, but we're mainly concerned with energy because the company's about energy. And so we wanted to study if we could make a cell more efficient. And basically, we were able to make a cell using one of our products called Cell Driver, use glucose in 25% more efficient way. And we're also able to increase the level of mitochondrial density in the cell by 50%, able to protect the cell membrane from reactive oxygen species. Basically means we poison them with hydrogen peroxide by 67%. We did other studies like on viral penetration rates. So we were able to reduce the viral penetration rate by 40% into lung tissue. We did wound ones as well, like where we would break skin, like they sort of knife through skin and could speed up a wound by, I think it was 3 times the normal rate. Trying to think what else we did.
Taking these infoceutical drops, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So like you would cut the skin, do a voice scan, and then give
No, not on a human. No, literally just cell cultures. So you can create you create a skin graft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I say not a human. In the skin one was a skin graft, so that wasn't human. We did a study with our wearable on humans that hasn't been published yet, but it comes out in the summer and in a film. And with that, there was I think it was between 40 and 50% reduction in fatigue for people wearing it. And there was also a 60% reduction in anxiety. So that was pretty large. But more interestingly, we also took samples of their blood and then we basically looked at different factors in their mitochondria. Yeah, and we saw I think it was 17, it was 15 or 17% increase in the efficiency of their mitochondria. And in a lab, in just a pure cell culture, we saw a 25% increase. But anyway, this was in humans and we saw 15 to 17% increase. So,
Yeah. And you're talking about the wearable here, the gem?
Yeah.
Okay. So was that a double-blinded, placebo-controlled study?
No, it wasn't double blind. No.
Okay. Was it placebo control?
No, it was 20 patients in a clinic. However, you can't really trick the blood. So yes, in a human study, people can say all sorts of different things, but the blood can't say different things. Like the blood is what the blood results are.
And what were the?
Oh, well, that was the 17% increase in their efficiency, in the mitochondrial efficiency. Then in a pure cell culture test, is 25% increase. And yeah, I mean, you don't do double blinds with cell culture tests.
Yeah. So have these been published in peer-reviewed journals?
So yeah, the first one was published last year, and the new Gem one that one hasn't come out yet. So that hasn't yet.
Where was the first one published?
Oh, Explore. Okay.
So can you explain what this Gem device is doing on my wrist? Because I get these occasional, I pull up the app occasionally and it says your current, I forget what the phrasing is, but the harshness to gentleness or something like that is what you should currently be working on, or
impatience to gentleness.
Well, I don't think it said impatience. It was more like hardness or something like that to gentleness.
So basically, it's looking at different emotional states in your body, but in Chinese medicine,
intensity to gentleness. Sorry. When I have clients dealing with diarrhea or loose stool, I always tell them about tributyrin, which is the best absorbed form of butyrate, which is normally made by bacteria fermenting fiber in your colon. Supplemental tributyrin can help slow your motility down and feed the cells lining your colon, firming up stool and helping create an oxygen-free environment in the colon, which helps the butyrate-producing bacteria to survive and multiply. Those bacteria are often wiped out after taking antibiotics, which is why tributyrin is a great accompaniment and follow-up supplement if you have to take antibiotics. My supplement, Tributyrin Max, has 750 milligrams of tributyrin, which is the highest dose currently available in a capsule. You can find it at perfectstool.com and use code INTRO15 for 15% off your first order.
Intensity, there you go. Intensity, yeah. Not impatient, just intense. So basically in Chinese medicine, you have like a Chinese medicine practitioner will read your pulse, and there's 29 different TCM pulses, and we basically worked out algorithms that can read those pulses. So a Chinese medicine practitioner doesn't have to, and those got translated to emotional characteristics. So for example, if somebody, let's say you had a wiry pulse, so wiry pulse is stagnant qi through the liver, and that would relate to frustration, or in a more extreme case, anger. And then the positive side of that is decisiveness. So the whole reason it says intensity to gentleness is because the opposite of intense, the characteristic you want to, bring in within yourself is gentleness. Or if in the case it was like frustration, the way out of frustration is actually to make decisions. So you want to embrace being more decisive. Or like, for instance, like a water element kidney one would be fear to courage. Like the way to get out of fear is to have courage to take action. So that the whole point of the readings is to basically help give awareness to where your emotional state is in that moment in time, and to what characteristic or emotional characteristic would help you out of that. And at the same time, it'll give you a correction. So those Infoceuticals, there's a little PMF coil in it and a photon emitter, so you can basically imprint those Infoceuticals back into your body in an automatic way.
You mean in the Gem, that's what there is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's reading, am I wearing it the right way? Am I supposed to be wearing it on the inside to feel my pulse, or is this good?
No, that's fine. No, because it's doing it through the tiny capillaries in the skin.
Okay, so it's reading my pulse, it's taking my emotional wavelengths, and it's sending me back what I need to be a better person, basically, to summarize.
Yeah, in short. Well, I mean, you have to engage your brain as well. The corrections are on the body field, so it's giving an instruction to your cells on how to be. The emotional part, you definitely have to do some work yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So I get these three things. I get vital energy 68, emotional strength 83, sleep efficiency. Oh, it gave me a good score today. That's the first one time I've seen one like this, 93, but that's under beta testing, I guess, still. So what does it take to get to 100? Like, who do I have to be to get a
Who
100?
do you have to be? Maybe Brian Johnson? I'm not sure. He's like
the Dalai
he's like the
Lama.
world's best sleeper, isn't he? Or he
Yeah,
says he
I
is.
know. He's like, what do you say? Like something like a year of 100 ratings. I've never even looked at 100 rating. That's like completely out of the realm of the possible for me.
Oh, what would you have to? I mean, there's all the sleep habit stuff. I mean, it's basically like all those algorithms are based on all these population statistics. So it's getting into that the top 1% of the population will give you perfect scores. But that's only 1% of people. That's only 1%.
Yeah, I hover in the same range all the time on most of these numbers, except for that sleep. As I said, I've seen a lot lower than that. And I did get a decent night's sleep last night, so I'll give it credit for that. Although sometimes I get a good night's sleep and I get a terrible score. So, and my energy is sort of roughly the same, but here it's 68. Other days it looked like it was a little higher, maybe 80 or something. But I generally feel like I have enough energy to do the things I need to do. But anyway, so does the voice scan, I got the impression when I talked to Bree that somehow the voice scan results could be translated into what the gem then sends back into me. But is this essentially doing the same thing as the voice scan?
All of these things are being unified around August this year. There's a film coming out with like all the research and innovations of the gem. And then we've done a completely new app that's not the app you've got that basically integrates the voice. It's like we've redone all those algorithms in quite a large way. Actually, well, all to a concept of basically health and vitality equaling information times voltage, which is the same as energy, divided by resistance. And resistance is all the things that will leak energy. So like negative emotions is a great example, but so is physical injuries, pain, so would, viruses, etc. So anyway, we've redone it to this sort of formula of health equals information times voltage divided by resistance. And then, it is all unified. So yeah, what you've got there is definitely a beta one.
Oh, okay. And then will this one be able to update to the newer?
It's just software. The hardware is fine. It's all.
So what's in the gem will stay the same.
Yeah. It's all. Yeah.
I look forward to that. So should I do a new voice scan at that point to reassess, or will the gem already?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be literally in your phone. So all you have to do is record your voice, stick out your tongue. It'll look at your face, and then it's got your wearable data, and then you can query the AI with, all the questions you have about yourself and what it means. And it'll basically give you a recommended protocol, which you can just then send to the wearable. And if you want to change it, you can change it.
Okay. And so if people want to be engaged with this, how do they do that in terms of signing up with Energy for Life? Because I mean, I understood that there were like coaches that work with Energy for Life and that you work with them.
I don't know when this podcast is going out, but assuming this is before August, the best way would be just to work with one of our practitioners or coaches. So you just go to e4l.com, and on there is a practitioner locator, but it works remotely. So the location doesn't really matter, but you do want to go with a practitioner that you like the look of in it. Like we have people who specialize in hormones or pain or whatever it is. So you want to go with the right type of practitioner for you. That would be the best way. But come July-August, you can do it more as a consumer. It'll cover like sort of 20% or 30% of the things as if you work with a practitioner. But then from the app itself, you can connect directly to a coach and practitioner and, have the full detail of all the scan. So depending.
And is it like going to be
depending whether you like doing things yourself or wanting help.
Is there like a subscription model with the gem device, or how does that work?
Yes. So yeah, with the gem, and it doing all the detect, correct, protect functions, that's $24 a month. And then if you're just doing the analysis and your coach end without a gem, I think it's nine. I think it's going to be $9.99 or something like a normal app would be in an app store.
Okay, so I'm not even sure what I have. I mean, I'm not paying any subscription. I just have the device and the interface.
Yeah, you've got the gem with the subscription.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure what I got. So cool. So
but you don't have all the AI and all the tongue and the face and all that stuff. That's all
right. But that'll come
all
later.
coming. Yeah. The
Yeah.
fun of R&D, but yeah, basically the first version's getting thrown away.
Yeah. So what kind of timeline should someone realistically expect with voice scans and infoceuticals or with the gem where they might feel a difference in their condition?
It all depends on the condition, how many years you've had it. But generally you'll get a response actually in that first 30 days, like you'll notice differences. But if you've been sick for years, like I was bedridden for 7 years, that took me 2 years to get to, pretty full recovery. So it just depends. It depends. But if it's, how will I put it? So, the body has these multiple layers, but like there's the physical body. Like in my case, I had, fractured spine, concussions, all this stuff. Like that takes way longer to fix up than if it's more of if it's an immune problem or an emotional problem or something like that. That's just way faster because that can happen directly through the field-based control system. But if you need more physical changes to happen, the control system will start directing in that direction, but it takes time for the body to actually repair things. So that's sort of it can be almost instant to a year or two. So it just depends on the physical side of the body.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had a fractured spine. Why do you need an electrical signal or whatever it is to tell your body to fix that? Doesn't the body know that there's a broken fracture and to start fixing it on its own?
I wish. I wish. No, generally not. So the body protects itself. For example, a fractured spine is maybe a bit, not many people have fractured spines, but let's take a twisted ankle, which everyone has had. So, you go for a run and you need to twist your ankle. And so what does the body does? It like swells it all up and it protects it. And then, unfortunately for some people, it stays and it hurts for months. Now, why? Why would the body go and do that? The body, basically, or the brain, in its great wisdom, is like, well, I don't want Lindsey to go and run again, so I'm going to go and overprotect her ankle and not basically reduce that swelling, let it heal. So basically, overcompensates and overprotects. So, like something like this device, when you put it on the ankle when it's injured, it'll send a signal back to the brain and say, well, no, actually, you can just repair it and put it back to normal instead of doing all this whole overprotection thing. So that's sort of why. But yeah, I wish the body didn't overprotect. It would have saved me a lot of time. Yeah.
So, who do you think this approach to health improvement is most suited for?
Honestly, well, we really tackle 3 large areas. So fatigue and energy is one big area. Pain and injuries, I mean, that's what this device is for. And then emotions is the other one, and that's what the gem is for. But saying that, I don't think there's a disease or health condition that doesn't actually fit in those, that it doesn't help. So, but yeah. But particularly energy, stress, pain, particularly those 3.
Can you show me again what that device is that you've got there and what that's called? And is this like a practitioner level device, like pretty expensive? My recollection was.
It was made for practitioners. I'm just going through an FDA 510K to get it over the counter approval, and then consumers are allowed to have it. I mean, we searched practitioners 5K. I haven't totally decided what pricing or how feature sets work for consumers, but you'll be able to get it through that same app. The Apple tell you how to use it and how you would address injuries and pain, so you can get it through that. But yeah, basically it has a PMF coil on the inside. It has an electromagnetic current at different frequencies coming through there, and then right in the middle basically comes out, well, they're basically red lasers in there, and then it puts information on the signal, but it also reads through these electrodes it's basically measuring the resistance of the tissue underneath the device. It does that so we know how long to treat, and then you move on to another area.
So you essentially rub it over where you have an injury.
Yes, but where it's extra sticky or has a high resistance reading, you put more attention on that until it clears, and then you can move on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can do it through feel, or you can read the numbers and do it off the screen, depending. I don't know. Men are very into their numbers, and I think women will just do it through feel, which I just do it through feels.
I like my numbers.
Yeah,
what's that called?
Oh, My Health.
My Health?
Yeah.
Got it. So you mentioned that there were maybe some other studies that you did prior to. Did you already talk about all the studies that have been done on this?
No, there's been lots over the years. So I mean, there was there was one done in Cuba. That was done on fibromyalgia patients, and we had 60% of the fibromyalgia patients got better in a 3-month period. That was through Infoceuticals. With this My Health device, we did a study in Holland. I can't remember the Dutch university. There was a Dutch university that did it. And that was with 291 people. And yeah, I think 88% of people felt an improvement on the first treatment. And then 93% of people basically had I think it was a 50% reduction in their pain on the second. But to be accurate, you just have to pull up our website to pull out that paper, because I won't remember, like it was done more than a decade ago. We've done like there's a couple of British universities that did some other like patient studies. I think there's like 10 or 12 papers up there and various sorts. I think Norman Shealy did one. He did one maybe 16 years ago here, but that was done on stress. But there's been a lot over the years.
Okay, so how might all this relate to gut health?
How does it relate to gut health? A big part of gut health, honestly, is like stress and emotions. So dealing with those is massively helpful. But I think what's sort of interesting, I met the CEO of Viome, that bacteria company, and I interviewed him once, and he shared a study where they were looking at how your microbiome and gut communicate to your body using photons. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But there's not just a chemical communication system between your microbiome and your body. It actually works through biophotons. Yeah. In the end, from an analysis point of view, I say there's these big areas that create resistance to your health and vitality. Negative emotions and stress is one of them. Obviously, bad diet, etc., is another. Like different bug trains is another. I mean, all of those can be detected through our system, and actually at the same time, from an infoceutical point of view, there's all sorts of different infoceuticals for the gut and stomach. So there's stomach driver, there's EI1 and EI10. Oh, EI10, but it says circulation. So that's also colon meridian. So that's why it came up for you. It's not circulation, it's colon. Sorry, I just remembered. Thank you for asking. But yeah, anyway, in short, you can take the information that will help correct that part of the body. But from an overall point of view, there's this equation. So health equals the coherence of your information or your control system of the body times your energy input, and then divided by the resistance. So like in this app, it'll tell you which of those is off. I mean, it might be all three actually, but it'll tell you the detail of that. So, ultimately you want to increase the exchange of energy of your environment and make sure you've got good cellular energy. You want to decrease the resistance in the body and get rid of all these different energy leaks. But you also want to increase the coherence of information in the body. And when you do all three, or the one that's mostly identified, because it honestly, maybe your voltage and energy inputs are fine, but you're just leaking, and that's honestly the most common, is you're just leaking energy out of the body. But by correcting those three, that's how you get your health back, and that applies to, it really doesn't matter the condition, it works regardless.
How or where or why would you be leaking energy out of the body?
Well, yeah, so one is like all those negative emotions. So for example, if, let's say you're extremely angry, like when you're angry, all that extra processing power in the brain is off the charts versus if you're in flow and, what's that word, gentleness. If you are gentle, like you don't use anywhere near as much energy when you're gentle or when you're angry. So that's a pretty easy example. And there's actually, on the anger thing, there's a great study done by Yale looking at smokers and angry people. And I think it was 10 or no, it might have been 20,000 smokers, but it was done over 10 years. And they scored all the smokers' anger levels and if they died of cancer. And have a guess what?
The angry ones.
Nobody died. Nobody died of cancer who wasn't angry. So the correlation was to anger rather than the smoking. And it's not to say that cigarettes aren't bad for you, but basically, if you have toxic emotions, your cells won't detox, they won't repair. So that the anger and negative emotions stops your cells repairing. So then you can't get rid of toxins like cigarette smoke. But if you're a happy smoker, you basically don't get sick. So your body will continually detox and repair itself. So if you're going to do bad things, be happy about it.
Well, now I'm wondering, so my husband has literally just started hypnotherapy to quit smoking, and he was down to
really?
one cigarette a day, but it makes him happy, that one cigarette a day. So I'm wondering, should I just let him keep that cigarette? And if he's happy about it, if it's keeping him happy, or maybe he's using it to diffuse the
honestly, I would look up that Yale study. So there's a book written by Gabor, and he has a whole chapter on, I can't remember the name of the book, but the book shows all of the links between different diseases and different emotional states. It's a pretty fascinating book.
Well, I'm thinking of putting this on his wrist and hooking it up to his phone so that I can see whether he gets the same readings I do or whether he gets completely different. I assume he'll get completely different things, recommended corrections.
You should let him choose as well, I think. Let him choose.
Choose what?
Oh, what he wants to do, right? What he wants to do.
Oh, well, I didn't choose what's on my readings on E4L. It just tells me what I need.
Oh, no. I mean, choose whether he, like the cigarette or where he wears it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he has it's like when he buys into his own decisions, then whatever those decisions are, it's more likely to have a positive outcome.
Yeah. Of course. So if somebody wants to do a voice scan and meet with a practitioner, what is the cost of that?
We have no idea. Like it's all over
it's not yet a thing.
We don't control the practitioners, what they charge.
Oh, I see. They each set their own rates.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they just.
I mean, it's all over the map. I think some people charge $40, some people charge $200. It just depends. Okay. Like, are they a doctor with a big clinic, or are they a health coach who's just starting up? So it really depends. That's why you should choose your own, to what you want.
And how do people become trained on your system and become practitioners?
It's well over 2,000.
How do you do it? Is there like a course they take, or how
do you do it? Yes, basically there's a whole online course that takes you through it.
Okay.
Well, there's two different courses. Depends if you're training to be a Bioenergetic health coach, then we educate you on all the health coach aspects as well. If you're more of a trained practitioner, then we only educate you on our system. So it just depends what level of person you are.
Okay, but all that's on the website, e4l.com.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, the best thing is just to have a demo of it. And the person demoing can answer all those questions, which there's a form online that says, book me a voice scan.
Oh, okay. So you can just do that for free, the voice scan, or?
As long as you're interested in being a practitioner or a coach, if it's to be a client, you should go and see a practitioner.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't do, the company doesn't, we don't see clients. So.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, all good. All good. But I was just saying, the website is e4l.com. That would be the only thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put that in the show notes. And thank you for sharing this information and for the GEM device. And
I would say one more thing. So there's a movie coming out called Master Your Energy, and I don't know how you get to that. Honestly, actually, well, if you just go to e4l.com and opt in, then when that film comes out, people will be emailed about it. That'll be the easiest way.
Okay. Is it going to come out like on Netflix or something, or where will people find it?
It's going to come out online, not Netflix.
Online. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Take care.
So after we finished talking, I decided to throw my scan into ChatGPT and ask for a summary. And it said I looked like someone with gut dysfunction or sensitivity, moderate chronic stress load, suboptimal recovery/sleep, lower than ideal energy reserve, a nervous system not fully regulated, and some emotional/cognitive processing backlog. All of that rang pretty true, but the last one wasn't totally clear, so I asked for more detail and I got, you had experiences/stressors where you didn't fully feel them, didn't resolve them, or moved on too fast, so they don't disappear, they just stay as open loops. All of which makes sense to me. So anyway, if you're interested, check out Energy for Life. I'm not a practitioner, but you can find one on their website. You can support the podcast by buying supplements at a discount from my Fullscript dispensary, ordering tests at a discount from my Rupa Health Lab store, or using my affiliate links to iHerb, which is available worldwide, or Amazon. And just to note that you can use my Amazon link to buy anything, so I'd appreciate it if you'd bookmark my link and use it not just for supplements, but for gifts and everyday items to support the podcast. If you'd like to connect with me online, you can follow my High Desert Health Facebook page, join my Gut Healing Facebook group, or join my newsletter list at highdeserthealthcoaching.com, as well as follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Mastodon, and X. Links for those are in the show notes. Thanks for joining me today, and here's wishing you all the perfect stool.